If you're watching this right now, tell me in the comments where in the world you're watching from, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe because what you're about to hear, this might be one of the most shocking divorce stories you've ever encountered. It all began on a rainy Thursday morning. The kind where the sky looked bruised and the world felt heavy before anyone even had a chance to ruin it. Naomi Price, a black woman known for her calm grace and gentle intelligence, sat in her car outside the courthouse, gripping the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles turned white. She had replayed this day in her mind hundreds of times, imagining what she might say, how she might react, how she might walk away without falling apart. But none of her rehearsed versions involved her husband strolling into the courtroom with his mistress beside him. Laughing, Naomi had loved Marcus for 10 long years. They had been through everything together, or so she thought. He had once promised her the world, told her she was the only woman who ever made him feel alive. She believed him back then, before the lies and the late nights, and the sudden change in his eyes whenever he looked at his phone, before the silent dinners, before the smell of unfamiliar perfume on his shirts, before the fights he pretended weren't happening, before the excuses he thought were clever. The betrayal had felt like a knife at first. But the knife eventually becomes normal when you're stabbed in the same place over and over again. She had grown used to the pain. That hurt her worst of all. She stepped out of her car, inhaled deeply, and walked toward the courthouse doors. She didn't dress in sorrow. No, she dressed in power black heels, crisp white blouse, and a tailored suit that made her look like a woman who finally remembered her worth. Her natural curls fell around her shoulders, and her dark eyes carried the weight of someone who had cried silently for too many nights. But there was something else behind those eyes, too. Something Marcus didn't expect strength inside the courthouse lobby. She saw them before they saw her. Marcus, tall and smug as always, whispering into the ear of a much younger woman with red lipstick and a smug, triumphant expression. The Mistress Janelle. Naomi didn't know much about her, only that she had been the cause of the last straw. The woman Marcus used to justify ripping their marriage apart like it was nothing. Janelle spotted Naomi first. She nudged Marcus and smirked, not even bothering to hide it. "Oh, look," she said loudly enough for Naomi to hear, "the soon-to-be ex." Marcus turned, and instead of shame, instead of even mild embarrassment, he grinned. "Naomi," he said, spreading his arms as though greeting a friend, "you made it." Made it. As if this were his event. As if she were an invited guest. Naomi didn't flinch. She didn't let them see the way her heart trembled under her ribs. She walked past them, chin high, not offering her husband or the woman he traded their marriage for a single glance of weakness. When she reached the courtroom door, Marcus called after her, "You don't have to be dramatic about this. Naomi, we all know this marriage died a long time ago." She stopped. Just for a second, then she turned around slowly. "Maybe it did," she said in a steady, controlled voice. "But you're the one who killed it." Janelle rolled her eyes. "Can we just sign the papers? Some of us have real plans today." Naomi looked at her, and for the first time she truly saw the woman who had helped tear her life apart. She wasn't as intimidating as Naomi once assumed. She was beautiful, sure, but beauty comes cheap when it's hollow. Naomi had depth, dignity, and a soul that didn't require validation from someone else's husband. She walked into the courtroom and took her seat. Marcus and Janelle sat together, the audacity of it almost laughable, as if they wanted the entire world to see their united front, as if humiliating Naomi was part of the thrill for them. The judge entered. An older woman with silver hair pulled into a bun and eyes that could slice through lies like blades. Judge Mabel Stinson was known for having zero tolerance for disrespect or foolishness, and Naomi silently thanked the universe for placing her case under this woman's authority. "Court is now in session," Judge Stinson said. Petitioner Naomi Price and respondent Marcus Price, regarding dissolution of marriage. Her gaze flicked to Janelle sitting proudly beside Marcus. "And whoever that is?" Janelle crossed her arms. "I'm his partner. I belong here." Judge Stinson didn't blink. "Ma'am, unless you are legal counsel, you do not belong anywhere in this courtroom." Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "Your Honor, I want her to stay. She's part of my life now." Judge Stinson lifted a single eyebrow. Your marriage is not dissolved yet, Mr. Price. So unless she is paying for your attorney or representing you as one, which I highly doubt, she will remain outside. Naomi felt a rush of vindication, but she kept her face blank. Janelle huffed. He said I could stay? Judge Stinson slammed her gavel once. And I said no. Bailiff. Within seconds, the bailiff escorted Janelle out, leaving Marcus red-faced and annoyed. Naomi didn't smile. Not even inside. She didn't need to. The universe had handled that one for her. The judge turned to Naomi. Mrs. Price, are you comfortable proceeding? Naomi nodded. Very well. Judge Stinson faced Marcus. Mr. Price, you are being sued for dissolution of marriage, citing adultery, emotional neglect, and financial misconduct. Do you contest these claims? Marcus tugged at his collar. Look, things got complicated. But Naomi exaggerates. Did you commit adultery, yes or no?
Oh.
Yeah, and did you hide expenses, including hotel stays, jewelry purchases, and rental properties under your mistress's name? Marcus stared. How did she? Naomi lifted a folder and placed it on the table. Marcus's jaw clenched. He looked betrayed, despite being the betrayer. Judge Stinson sighed. Mr. Price, I hope you understand that dishonesty only worsens these proceedings. Naomi listened, quiet, composed, and painfully aware that this moment, the moment she dreamed of and feared, was unfolding exactly as it needed to. But something unexpected happened right then. Marcus leaned forward, eyes narrowing as he stared at her. You're doing this to punish me, he said, because you hate that I moved on. Naomi turned her head slowly and looked him dead in the eyes. No, Marcus, she said. I'm doing this because you never valued what you had until you destroyed it. The room went silent. For the first time, Marcus didn't know what to say, but Judge Stinson wasn't done. Mr. Price, I will review the evidence and finalize my decision shortly. This court is adjourned for a brief recess. The gavel struck as the courtroom emptied. Marcus stood behind Naomi near the aisle. His tone was low, defensive, bitter. I hope you're happy, he muttered. Dragging our private business in front of a judge? Naomi calmly picked up her purse. If you wanted privacy, she said, you shouldn't have involved so many hotel rooms. Marcus's nostrils flared. And as for happiness, Naomi paused. I'll find mine. I hope someday you find yours too. Without destroying anyone else this time, she walked away before he could speak again. But as she approached the courthouse doors, she saw something that made her freeze in her tracks. Janelle. Standing outside, shouting into her phone, crying, not smug, not arrogant, distressed. And Naomi had no idea yet just how much that moment would matter, or how the truth was much bigger and darker than she ever imagined. Naomi had planned to walk straight to her car, leave the courthouse, go home, and inhale the quiet she'd been craving for months. But when she saw Janelle outside, red-eyed, furious, and pacing, something inside her shifted. It wasn't sympathy, not yet. It was curiosity mixed with a sharp intuition she'd learned never to ignore. People cry loudly when they're guilty or scared. And whatever Janelle was feeling, it wasn't victory. Naomi didn't approach her. She just walked toward her car slowly, watching from the corner of her eye. Janelle kicked the ground, shouted into her phone, hung up, then burst into another round of angry tears. Naomi unlocked her car and sat in the driver's seat. She placed her hands on the wheel, took a deep breath, and waited for everything to stop shaking inside her. But her hands didn't settle. Her breath didn't settle. Something refused to settle. 10 minutes passed before she finally drove away. She didn't expect what came next. 3 hours later, Naomi sat in her apartment. Wearing sweatpants and sitting on the edge of her couch with a cup of tea that had gone cold. The silence felt heavy. Her life, 10 years of it, was dissolving in real time, and she was both relieved and terrified. Marcus had been her world once. Losing him felt like losing the map she'd lived by. But right as she finally let herself cry, her doorbell rang. She wiped her face, confused. She wasn't expecting anyone. When she looked through the peephole, her heart lurched. It was Marcus. But not the Marcus she knew. This one looked panicked, disoriented, rageful. She opened the door an inch, keeping the chain hooked. "What do you want, Marcus?" He didn't answer her question. He just pushed his hands through his hair, pacing in the hallway like a man falling apart. "I need to talk to you, please," she said. "You lost that privilege. Naomi, I'm serious." His voice broke in a way she wasn't used to. "Something's wrong." She studied him. She saw no alcohol in his eyes, no arrogance, no smirk, just fear. "Where's Janelle?" she asked. He looked at her with something like humiliation. That's the problem." Naomi froze. "What happened?" Marcus swallowed hard. Shame trembled through his shoulders. "She left. She's gone. She cleaned out my apartment. She drained the joint account.
Ow.
She took everything." Naomi blinked. Not out of pity, but out of the stunning realization that this man had actually been blindsided. "How did you not see it coming?" she asked quietly. He shook his head. "I thought she loved me." Naomi almost laughed, that bitter, exhausted laugh that comes only to the people who know better. "She loved your money, Marcus. She loved the thrill of stealing you from someone else. But she never loved you." He leaned against her doorframe, trembling. "You were the best part of my life," he whispered suddenly, "and I threw it away." The words slammed into her chest hard, but she did not open the door farther. "You made choices," she said softly, but firmly, "and I lived through the consequences." Marcus lowered his head. "I didn't think you'd actually leave me," Naomi exhaled. "You left me first." He didn't argue. He couldn't. She watched him break piece by piece, but she didn't invite him in. Sympathy had limits. Boundaries were necessary. And she'd sacrificed enough of herself for one lifetime. "Marcus," she said, "go home." He looked at her like she'd just cut the last thread he was hanging from. Then he walked away. She closed her door, locked it, and slid down the wood, finally letting her tears fall. Not for Marcus, for herself. For everything she had survived. For everything she had wasted. For everything she had yet to reclaim. 2 weeks passed. The divorce moved quickly, thanks to Judge Stinson's impatience for Marcus's dishonesty. And the final hearing was scheduled. Naomi arrived early, feeling lighter than she had in years. Marcus arrived alone, no mistress beside him. No swagger, no smug cruelty. Just a quiet man in a cheap suit who finally looked at the woman he had destroyed and saw someone he couldn't break anymore. The courtroom felt different this time. Bare, cold, ready. Judge Stinson reviewed the files and evidence one last time, adjusting her glasses occasionally. Naomi sat tall. Marcus sat like a child about to receive a punishment he knew he deserved. "Mr. Price," Judge Stinson began, "the evidence is overwhelmingly clear. Your misconduct financially and emotionally placed significant burden on your spouse. Therefore, this court grants Mrs. Naomi Price primary financial restitution, including spousal compensation and full rights to all marital assets not already claimed by the respondent." Marcus exhaled sharply. Naomi didn't react. And regarding the dissolution, the judge continued, "This marriage is officially terminated as of today." Hey, the gavel struck. It was done. Naomi didn't cry. She didn't smile. She simply nodded respectfully and stood, ready to walk into her new life. But as she gathered her things, Marcus spoke. "Naomi, can we talk?" She paused. "For old time's sake. For closure. For the peace she deserved." "Say what you need to say," she replied. He stood in front of her, wringing his hands like he used to when he was nervous in their early years back, when he was still a good man. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," he said, "and I'm not asking for it." His voice trembled. "I just want you to know that losing you, it woke me up. Too late, I know. But I'll never forget what I did, and I'll never stop regretting it." Naomi nodded, not coldly, but gently. "Then let the regret teach you something," she said. "Not everyone you hurt gets to heal easily, but you can choose not to repeat the damage." And Marcus swallowed hard. "Were you ever really going to stay if I had tried harder?" Naomi looked at him with a softness he didn't deserve, but she still carried because she was who she was. "I stayed even when you gave me nothing," she said. I stayed until staying was killing me. Marcus closed his eyes. I'm sorry. Naomi studied him carefully. I know. But sometimes sorry just means you finally understand what you lost. She turned to leave. But he reached out not to touch her, just to stop her for one more second. Naomi, you didn't deserve any of it. She gave him one last look. Not of love, not of pity, of release. I know, she said, and I finally believe it. Then she walked away out the courthouse doors, into the warm afternoon air, into a world where her future was hers again. No more betrayal. No more begging to be seen. No more shrinking herself to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold her. As she stepped onto the sidewalk, sunlight brushed her face, and for the first time in years, she felt it fully. Freedom. She didn't look back. Not even once.